Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Scott Rivard, and I am the chair of the Windsor-Essex OACETT chapter. The purpose of today's event is to provide background and information for students and young professionals and those looking for career changes, just information and advice on how to build your professional network, information on job resources, and just the overall background and ways to navigate in a post-COVID workforce. So I've got several speakers here today who are going to just take a little bit of time throughout the course of the presentation to speak about the services they offer and provide some information. And I appreciate everyone's patience as we were starting off here. We did have a little bit of a technical issue with one of our presenters. So our agenda for today is we're going to run until 11:30. We're going to start with a session on building your professional network and job searching by myself. We have Linda Lexner from the City of Windsor Employment and Training Services, who's going to talk about resume and interview advice. We have Wayne Riley from St. Clair College, who will be talking about Employment Ontario and their St. Clair College Career Services. We have Shervin Milani Kia from Windsor Women Working with Immigrant Women, talking about Employment Ontario services for job seekers. And we have Lindway Sithole and Charles Taylor from west of Windsor, Women's Enterprise Skills Training Services, talking about the services they offer and online job searching tips. And then we will wrap up with a little bit of Q&A. So National Engineering Month, just as a bit of background, was founded in 1992 by Engineers Canada. It was created as a celebration of engineering excellence in Canada. And although many of National Engineering Month's high-profile activities appeal to youth, the campaign ultimately strives to strengthen the bonds within the profession, engineering and applied science technology, and those of the profession to the society at large. So NEM events are organized and led by volunteers all across Canada. NEM Ontario supports and leads events in the province of Ontario, partnered with the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists, or OACETT, Professional Engineers Ontario, and the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, or OSPE. Myself, I'm a representative from OACETT, which is a nonprofit self-governing professional association with over 25,000 members across the province. We cover across 15 different disciplines, including buildings, civil engineering, biomedical, chemical, and many, many others. So it is our certifying body for the engineering and applied science technicians and technologists, and OACETT confers the Certified Technician, CTEC, and Certified Engineering Technologist, CET designations, which are countrywide recognized designations. In Ontario, there are 28 chapters across the province, and OACETT is a founding member of Technology Professionals Canada. So our first topic is about building your professional network. Myself, as I mentioned, I'm the chapter chair for the OACETT Windsor-Essex chapter. I'm also a member of the Young Professionals Committee for OACETT. Professionally, I am a designer and project manager with Zon Engineering. They're an engineering firm based out of Cambridge. I've been with them since 2012. And I've been in the industry for 12 years. So why do we want to network? It's time consuming. When you look at the cons of everything, it takes a lot of time to build out a professional network, especially a virtual network in a COVID world. It's awkward trying to reach out and make these new connections and just trying to send out random networking requests or trying to build that connection. And for young professionals, students graduating from college who maybe are just getting onto the bandwagon, the question is, how do you even start? Where do you even start to build a professional network? Who do you reach out to? Which questions do you ask? So that's the idea behind this, is just to talk about this a little bit more. But for every negative reason to not build a network, there's the flip side as to why not build a network. It gives you the opportunity to develop long-lasting relationships. It can help you find job leads and opportunities. It can grow your status as a young professional, as a working professional, and help build your industry experience excuse me, it allows you to observe industry trends and professional development opportunities. It can help you build your resource library and find professional development opportunities and just overall online resources. And it can give you insight into additional qualifications that may help your career and help build your, excuse me, your professional growth as you move forward into your career. So before COVID, before 2020, before everything changed, how did we network? We attended job fairs in person. We went to social events. We went to meet and greets. We went to networking sessions. We went to professional development seminars, and we went to industry-specific conferences. These were great opportunities to shake hands with people, to get your name out there, to hand out business cards, and to just make those connections that could help you both personally and professionally. And then 2020 hit and everything changed. People started working from home. All of these in-person events were canceled. Social distancing requirements became mandatory. So everything moved to the virtual platform. Well, that creates challenges when you're trying to build your professional network or maintain a professional network. How do you do that? It doesn't give you the opportunity to get your name and your face in front of people anymore. Everything is behind a screen, which can feel distant, it can feel cold, it can feel awkward. For introverts such as myself, it makes it very, very difficult to extend yourself and get your name out there. Everything has gone virtual now. Events, virtual platforms such as Zoom or Microsoft Teams or WebEx, they're not built for networking per se. They're built for presenting, for as we have it right now, where you have one or a handful of people presenting topics to a larger audience. It doesn't give you that personalized one-on-one opportunity. So it makes it very, very difficult. And with everything moving virtual, how do we network? Well, we have to start by looking at the infrastructures in place to build our virtual connections, starting with the one most working professionals are familiar with and have accounts on is LinkedIn. People are more receptive now to blind connection requests. There was a period of time I found when you would send a connection request, and if you didn't know that person, or if they weren't a first or second connection in your network, they weren't likely to accept it. And that seemed to be recommended from companies and everything out there. But in the post-COVID world, that changed. With social media, companies are jumping on board faster now than they have in previous years. A lot of companies were reluctant to build social media accounts. They didn't feel like it presented that professional front. But it wasn't also bringing in opportunities now that didn't previously exist. So corporate social media accounts, it allows people to provide insights into career opportunities, build key personnel to network with. It allows them to market their services or projects that they're working on, or celebrate working professionals in their organization who maybe achieved a certification or a designation, or held a professional development seminar, or any type of milestone or professional accomplishment. It can now be highlighted on company social media accounts, whereas before that wasn't really happening. So with all the negatives of COVID, it has helped push companies to the virtual platforms more so now than ever before. Before COVID, we used to have in-person job fairs. Now everything has gone virtual. A lot of infrastructures and services have changed their platforms, their services, and their offerings to be able to host job fairs. You go into almost like a landing page, which looks like a conference hall, and you're able to connect with different employers and still have that, at least a video interview or introduction, so you can build that network out. Same thing with virtual networking events. A lot of services like what we're doing now with NEM gives you opportunities to connect with working professionals and help build your network out. There's also online communities. So if there are industries or topics that apply to you personally or professionally, or it's of interest with you, there's probably a community out there on social media or on LinkedIn, or even company blogs that you can follow and interact with. And that helps you gain insight into industry trends and where things are moving. But when it comes to building your professional network, one thing I could say is it's quality over quantity. You need to look at who you're adding to your professional network online, as opposed to, I want to build out 500 connections, but you don't really share any connection to them, any personal linkage. You're not in the same industries. So you have to look at the value of that and how you build out your network. You want to add people to your professional network that you could have a mutually beneficial relationship going forward. When you're talking about building out your professional network, you cannot be afraid to ask for introductions. You reach out to someone and say, hey, I really want to connect with this person, or I want to connect with this company, and I know that you have that interaction with them. Do you mind having that introduction for me, or making that handoff? It's important to engage with your network as well. You make that connection with someone, send them a message and say, hey, thanks for connecting. I'd love to just have a virtual coffee with you and talk about common interests, or how we can knowledge transfer or have that engagement. And as a follow-up to that, you have to personalize each connection request. You need to look at what you have in common. You need to find common interests or career goals, or maybe there's a certification that this person has that you want to find out more about and say, hey, this connection would really help me or this certification would really help me advance my career. Do you mind if I pick your brain a little bit and ask you these questions? Most professionals that I know that are in my network would have no problem being that mentor-mentee relationship, or providing that knowledge transfer to help young professionals and students and graduates just launch their careers off. And then ultimately, it's very important to follow up as well. Just send a message every so often and say, hey, just wanted to check in, see how things are going with you. Maybe we can catch up and have a coffee, or just see how things are going, or talk about how so and so's work is going, and just go from there. But then, when we talk about career searching, the biggest question is, where do you start? Going door to door, open and talking to the secretary and trying to get your foot in the door with the hiring manager. It's kind of a thing of the past now because of everything that's going on in COVID and everything moving virtual. So how do you find that perfect opportunity? What resources exist that can help you launch your career, that can aid in your career search and find gainful employment? I've got a good example here. This is really the reason why I wanted to put this event on for everyone. Several months ago, as a hiring manager, we were looking for an entry-level designer. It was someone who didn't necessarily have a lot of experience, but someone who could have that right fit with our company. We posted to social media. We posted to sponsored job sites like Indeed and LinkedIn. We posted to college career service websites. We really posted this opening as wide as we could to try and find that perfect candidate. It was a little bit of a catch-22 because we received over 500 applications. 90% of those 500 applications for one entry-level position came from Indeed. These applicants mass mailed their resumes out to any position that they could find. They didn't read the job description. They weren't a good fit. They didn't meet key criteria with regards to their physical location or their educational background, right? We were talking about an entry-level position. So this person didn't need to have a lot of experience. They just needed to have the right post-secondary education. But from 500 applications, how do we narrow that down? How do we find the qualified candidate? It got to a point where I was in bed at night flipping through applications. And when you have that many applications, that from this broad process, you spend 30 seconds to a minute, maybe, reading a resume. And you're finding more reasons to exclude someone than you are to include them. So with everything going on, with the recommendations I can make to those looking to launch their career is, don't rely on job search sites like Indeed. And this example will explain why. So I posted this job out there, and the biggest benefit I found, the biggest qualified candidates came from my network. So I put this out there, I sent it out to my network, to my connections, and it went through the network that I had. It went from my first connection on LinkedIn through to a second, and that second person called up someone in their network and say, hey, there's this job opening. It looks like you would make a perfect fit. And so this candidate reached out to me, called me up and said, hi, so-and-so recommended that I get in touch with you about this opening. And so we talked, and she sent me her resume, and she was a great fit for the opportunity. So we advanced her into the job application process, and we went through the screening and the interview questions, and she ended up getting this job. That it was like a needle in a haystack, right? We're talking 500 applications narrowed down to one. And it was because of the network. It wasn't because she found this application online and just applied to it like everyone else. It was because she had this network, I had this network, and ultimately it was that connection that was made. And that's what I need to stress to everyone here, is about the importance of building out your network. And hopefully following up and building on that, I've got several presenters here, the first being Linda Lexner, who is employed by the City of Windsor Employment and Training Services Department. She's an employment caseworker there. Employment and Training Services is an Employment Ontario service provider. They provide resources for job seekers, for employers, for apprenticeships and training. They are one of several Employment Ontario service providers we have speaking today. And Linda, you can take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sorry, Linda. Yeah,
okay. Good morning. So again, my name is Linda Leixner, and I'm an employment caseworker with the City of Windsor Employment and Training Services Department. We are an Employment Ontario funded organization, and that is all from the provincial government. So the ministry is the Ministry of Labour, Training and Skills Development, Employment Ontario Division, and service providers are contracted to provide free services to anyone that's looking for work and training services that one would be eligible for. So just because we have the program in service doesn't mean everyone is eligible for it, but if you live in our area, we can assist you. This is, again, a province-wide program, so if you're living somewhere outside of Windsor-Essex, to find offices in your region, you can email contact.eo@ontario.ca, and they can give you a list of all the programs and services that they provide in your area. So when you come in, well, actually, our resource center is closed to in-office appointments, but you can call the number that's on the screen there or email, and we can talk.
Sorry, Linda, I don't mean to interrupt, but you're not screen sharing.
Oh, well, that's not good. Give me just a second. And apologies, everyone. Can you see that now or no?
No.
Can you see the screen now?
No, not yet.
Give me 1 second, everyone. All right. 1 moment, please. Pardon the technical difficulties, everyone. See, this happens in real life, everyone, so don't panic.
We may have moved to a virtual environment, but it's not without its technical difficulties.
1 minute, I have to open up my screen that I want to show everyone because it just disappeared on me. Oh my goodness gracious. It was working a minute ago, was it not?
It was.
I just lost my share screen button.
Okay, we can see your video now.
Well, that's good, but now I just need to, here we go, I think. Do you see our screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so let me just put it to, there we go. Is that better? Can you see the screen now, everyone?
Yes, that's great, Linda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so there's the number where you would call if you wanted to register for programs and services with us here at Employment and Training Services. And although our resource center is closed to the public, we are doing virtual workshops online, and we are talking to our clients over the phone. The phone intakes are taken to register individuals for services and then refer them to our job developers to market you to open positions that we're currently trying to fill right now. Um, Scott talked about it earlier on getting information on what kind of jobs are out there, researching the jobs to make sure that you're making an informed decision. Do you have what the job is looking for, what the job posting is looking for? We deal with Workforce Windsor-Essex. They are basically our labor market researchers and providers for Windsor and Essex County, and they have quite a few jobs that they post. And if you want to register with them, they'll even send you out emails 3 times a week, and they have listings of all the events. This event is on their website, so that they can get the word out there. Job Bank Canada, that is federal. So make sure that when you're looking for things that you are looking for the region you want to work in. And also the knock description, I'm going to explain that to you in the next couple of slides on how it can help you identify what skills to put on a resume. So the resume is a marketing tool that you're going to use to let employers know what skills, education, and experience you have. You have to match what you put on your resume to what employers are looking for. The main job of your resume is to get you an interview. Make sure that you verify your contact information, that it's correct. So sometimes we have a tendency to change our phone numbers or change our emails and forget to change it on a resume. If you're not getting any calls with the resume you're using, make sure you have the right contact information on it. And your voicemail message, make sure it's professional, and check your email to uh, obviously make sure that you're responding to messages with spam, and a lot of the filters, always check your junk folder just to make sure you're not missing anything. And your voicemail message, so if someone wanted to call you and leave a message on your voicemail, what message do they hear from you? Make sure it's professional, please, okay? Make sure it has at least your name and your phone number. No background noises, dogs barking, TV blaring, music blaring, okay? It's something that's so simple that we forget to do. And then when you're putting together the skills that you have on, um, you have to make sure that you refer to different websites and take a look at yourself. You're going to do an inventory of your own skills to make sure you have a match to what employers are looking for. You have to put your employment and education history, and I'm going to talk to you about what to put and what not to put in each section. Interests, awards, and hobbies, use the ones that relate to your job. So if you won a competition for eating the most hot dogs, that's not an interest or skill or award you would put on your resume, okay? References, never, ever, ever include them on your resume unless the job posting says to do so, okay? And we'll talk about how you can handle letting people know if they referred you to a job on your cover letter. And proofread, get someone else to proofread. Don't rely on just spell check. If you don't have anyone else to proofread it, read it backwards, okay? Because we can slow ourselves down, and that's how we absolutely find more errors and mistakes. So sometimes it's hard to identify your own skills. We always ask people. So if I was an employer and I was talking to you, what are you going to tell me you can do? Oh, I'm a team player. I can work on my own. I'm motivated. I like challenges. Well, those are great soft skills, but you have to be able to identify your hard skills as well. And skills can be transferred from one area to another. You have to identify your skills. So using the job posting, ask yourself, can I do what the job is asking for? And is it on my resume? The Knock website that I was talking to you about, it shows occupation descriptions, not jobs. Okay, so if you, and I'll give you the link again in just a few minutes, but if you take a look at the job description on the website, and if you can do the skills that they're listing, you have the skill. You make sure you put it on your resume, especially if it's something that you know is required to do the job. And then I'm also going to show you on how to do a skills inventory checklist, and it helps you identify the skills that you have and putting that skill in a statement for you to put on your resume. So the skills inventory checklist, it's each skill statement, excuse me, has to start with a power verb, a skill, like what can you do, okay? Once you create all of the statements, you now have an inventory of all the skill statements that you can use to put on your resume. So for each skill, you're gonna ask yourself what, who, where, when, how, why, and you might not be able to answer all those questions. So you're going to keep it relevant to the skills that you're looking to put. So this person is a general laborer and he has loading skills. And when we originally saw him, he had on his resume loaded parts. It's like the bottom point right there. But we asked them, well, who did you load? He goes, oh, I didn't load people. I said, okay, what did you load? He said, I loaded packaged nuts and bolts onto pallets. And where did you put them? And he kind of looked at me and he said, well, onto transport vehicles. Why? He goes, to ship them. I said, did you do it manually or did you use something hydraulic? He said, I used a hydraulic lift. So when he came in, he had loaded parts on his resume. When he left, the statement that he had on his resume was loaded pallets of packaged nuts and bolts using hydraulic lift machines onto transport vehicles for shipment. So that just gives an employer a more detailed statement and summary of what you can actually do. Now, another thing that when you start to create these different things, you have to make sure when you're reading the job ad, you have to ask yourself, can you do that? And is it on your resume? So we've created this little cheat sheet, I like to call it, so that you can keep an inventory. In my world, a caseworker, an employment caseworker, we like to see clients prepared with the job posting, this checklist, and then the resume and cover letter that they apply to. Great thing to start getting used to because it really helps you keep organized. And if they call you 2 or 3 months down the road because now they're really ready to hire you, then you at least have that package of information to go back to. So you're not asking the hiring manager, what job is this for? When did you post it? How did I apply? You have that. And it's easy to keep in an Excel spreadsheet or in any kind of file system that you find is best for you. I would highly recommend that you start using this now. So the reason why we tell you this is the simplest way that I can explain it is if you're writing a test or an exam and the teacher asks you to list 5 things that belong on a resume, you know the 5 things, however, you only put 3 things in your answer, you might get only the 3 marks. You have to understand that the resume is marked just like a test or exam question is. When the employer goes through all the scans of all the resumes, the persons with the highest marks or highest skills that match that job get called in for an interview. And you might not know this right now, but when you apply online to jobs, before a real live person even sees your resume, you've gone through scans, lots of them. Okay, they ask you application questions and they rank you according to the buzzwords or matchwords that they want to see from the job posting. Now, I'm going to talk about a skills-based resume because this type of resume highlights your skills and not where you actually got them from. People don't gain skills just from work experience. People gain skills from school, from life, everywhere. Okay. So again, make sure your contact information with the correct info is on there. You're going to have a profile statement that lets the employer know what you're actually applying for. If you're applying through a company website, they might have 20 different jobs. You need to tell them on your resume at the top what you bring to the table. A skills summary. These are the skills, like I said, that are gained from school, work, life, volunteering. So make sure you list the things you can do that match that job description. Education, put your current or most recent education first. Include if you have your high school diploma finished or your GED, as some employers need that to see that you have finished that. A lot of times individuals say, well, I have my college or university degree or diploma. Of course, I have grade 12. Not necessarily. Okay, so people can get admitted into programs as mature students without grade 12 completion. That's the way it is in the province of Ontario. So if you have it, put it down there. Work experience, please don't include your months that you worked somewhere or exact dates, because by showing the months, it shows your gaps. Put the years only. So if you worked for an organization for maybe 6 out of the 12 months in the year, you would only put 2020. You wouldn't put 2020 to 2020, okay? Make sure you have the company name and the job title, not the supervisor's name or phone number or address information. It's not necessary. And your volunteer experience, show the positions that relate to the type of work that you can do and follow the same format as your employment experience. Please, whatever you do, do not put volunteer experience as paid experience, because that you're not volunteering, okay? References, again, never, ever, ever include them on your resume. If the posting says to provide them, then you're going to list them on a separate page that's kind of follows the same outline as your resume. So I apologize for the way this is all spread out, but this is the way it is on a PowerPoint so that everyone can see it. And what I did was I created a sample resume for a person that's in the electromechanical engineering technician robotics program. That's a mouthful. But this person is in school right now and pending graduation now in May. And what they've done for their profile statement is they put electromechanical engineering technician robotics student pending graduation in May, seeking employment where my skills and education can be utilized. So, and or a separate statement would be if you're a student now, but you're going back to school in September, you want some summer work, that might be a sample statement on what to put there. Now, these skills are skills that are gained from school, work, volunteer, and self-taught. So you would go through it, and what I did was I went through the NOC website, and these are the skills listed for electrical technicians, robotics, and mechanical technicians. And I know that this program, someone correct me if I'm wrong, is like a combination of all of them, those things. So you would go through and you would say, can I assist in preparing conventional and computer assisted like CAD engineering designs, drawings, and specs? Yeah. Okay. Is it on your resume? So you would go through each one of those things and see if there's something that you know you've not been taught or don't know, have no clue or concept of how to get it off your resume. Okay. So that's how we assist, especially new graduates with that. For the education, I put the electromechanical engineering technician robotics program, St. Clair College, pending graduation in May 2021. Now, when you finish the program, you're going to change it to electromechanical, et cetera, program, you're going to change to diploma because you're finished. You have that diploma. And that the second line would be for individuals who are currently in the program. I did not put the high school education on there because I didn't know how many international students or whatnot are there. But all you would have to do is put OSSD diploma. Done. Okay, you don't have to put the name of the school or the year you graduated. And the reason why you don't put the year you graduated high school is because they can do the math and age you. Okay, so if you're one of the mature students, you don't might not want them to know how old you are, because then they might think we don't want someone within that age. And they're not going to tell you that, but these are things that could be happening over there. So the certificates, awards, and competitions, enter here anything that you have that is above and beyond what you would get from your diploma at the college. So if you're in the robotics program and you won like the provincial or national robotics competition in high school, yeah, you put that down. Okay. Same with your college program. If you designed something that's being used by different employers or that's well known and you were part of that group, you put that in there. Okay. Work experience, again, you put the years worked, the name of the organization, no months or contact or phone information. Volunteer experience, the same thing, and references available upon request. This line would go in on your resume only if you have room. If you don't have room, you don't have to worry about it, but make sure that you connect with your references, let them know you're applying for the job, what kind of job, and if they're still available to give you a good positive work reference. Okay. Um, Now, the cover letter, please don't retype your whole resume. Use it to introduce your resume. Take a look at the job posting and put a few key features in the cover letter. Don't over personalize it. Try to keep it short and professional. Use the same template as your resume. So at the top, you're going to have your contact information, and then I'll show you an example in just a second. It should have the salutation, the body, and the closing. Include it as the first page of your resume and review it before you send it out to make sure you've changed the employer information from the last job you applied to. If you're applying like yesterday to company ABC for a position and now today you're applying for XYZ, make sure you go and change ABC to XYZ on your cover letter, because it would be very embarrassing to send a an application package to a company with the wrong company name on it. Okay. Yes, it's happened before. It certainly has. So here's a sample of a cover letter that would match that resume. So you would put your name, address, phone, and email at the top, the date, the employer name, and the address or the email regarding what job title and position number, if it's available. Now, if you're just going to be cold calling and you just want to send in the resume in case there's anything of it open in the future, then in the job title and posting number, you would put any current or future opportunities in whatever you want to apply for. And attention, if the job posting says to address it to a specific person and you know and they provide that, you put the person's name. If not, then you're going to put attention and dear hiring manager. So please find attached my resume as interest for, and you could choose one of those statements, whatever applies to the job that you're looking for. And as outlined on my resume, I'm currently a student, or I am looking for part-time work during the school year, which could lead to more full-time hours, or I plan to graduate in May of this year to start my career with your organization in the whatever trained occupation you're in. You volunteered at whatever, and how it applies to the job. I have excellent technical and communication skills with the ability to tap to a variety of different computer programs. I can be reached at your phone number for further discussion about your current opportunity, and put your name and number again. Okay. Now, I think one of my other presenters is going to be talking about different job search and how to access different job searching mediums. And I'm going to move right on to the interview. So before you go to the interview, research the company again. And you should do this before you even put together the resume, just so you're familiar with what they're interested in, what they do. Prepare and practice interview questions. Contact your references and give them a heads up about your interview. The day of, if you're going to be going in for a live interview, make sure you look your best, professional, clean, and no scents. And what do you wear? Well, you wear something that's one step above what you're required to wear for the job. Okay, bring your resume or have your resume ready, your references, a pad of paper and a pen, and any other information that they asked you to bring to the resume, to the interview. When you get there, if it's in person, be nice and attentive. Turn your phone off before you walk into the office or business. For virtual interviews, be prepared at least 10 minutes before and make sure you're fully dressed. Horror stories, I'm telling you, we hear them all the time. So make sure you're fully dressed, like as if you're walking in to see them in person. Check what's in the background and make sure you have a quiet and uninterrupted location to be interviewed. If there's children in the home, pets, background noise, and visual items, turn off your landline because it could be buzzing in the background if you still have one of those. Just make sure that you're sitting in the office, in the place where you're sitting is like you're sitting in front of them. Okay. And during the interview, let the interviewer lead the interview. Be confident and not arrogant. Ask questions and listen carefully. Thank them for the interview and ask for next steps. After, you have to follow up with either a note or an email. However, you made original contact, try to get as many names as you can with contact information so that you can do this as follow-up. Okay. Um, so many questions. People are always asking, how do I answer all these different questions? I don't know if I have time to address how to answer them right away, but just when you're asked the question, remember, try to remember the STAR situation. The situation, the task, what action you took, and the result. These are some of the most common questions that every person gets asked, no matter what type of job you're going for. Okay. So try to think of situations that you can talk about this. And if you've never been in a situation that the interviewer is asking you about, tell them, say, fortunately, I've never had a problem with a supervisor before. I've never had such a bad disagreement, but I would like to tell you what I would do if that were to happen so that they know you're prepared and you're able to answer all questions. Okay. So again, I don't think we have time to do the question part right now. Scott, you can let me know later if there's any questions that were brought in through the chat section. Now, there is funding available through the province for people who are looking for work. So if you've been hired but you have not started working, give us a call and we'll see if you might qualify for employment startup to assist with the costs of any work-related items. When you're ready to look for summer work or upon graduation, please give us a call because again, we can help um, with these funds and to match you to jobs. And once you get the job, you got to keep it. Okay. So be on time, learn to accept criticism, fix your mistakes, control your emotions, body language. Please be careful of that. Problems, discuss them with your supervisor, not everyone else. Ask for feedback, get advice on how to improve and be coachable. Listen to the trainer. Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you know how to do it the best, okay? A lot of the trainers have a lot of experience and they're passing this knowledge on to you. So be open to that, please. Make sure you have a positive attitude with a good sense of humor. Listen, ask questions, and try to help others. Account for your own mistakes and learn how to fix them. Take scheduled breaks and lunches. Control your social life. No texting or calls, and don't bring your personal problems to work, but try not to bring your work problems to home either, right? There's a way that people have to deal these the best that they can, but just do your best and be honest about what you can do. So these are just some things that require zero talent, and I talked about them in the screen before that, but there's our contact information. So our support staff is available right now. They're standing by if you want to call after this session or email us. We will definitely schedule you with their next available caseworker to help you through your job share. A job search, excuse me, job search. Okay. Um, Anybody have any questions or are we set to go on to the next session?
I think we'll do questions at the end if that's good for you,
Perfect.
Linda, if you're going to stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you so much, Linda. That was great. So next, we are going to move on to Wayne Riley from the St. Clair College Career Services. He's an employment consultant there with over 20 years experience focusing on employment and job search assistance. The St. Clair College Employment Center is another Employment Ontario service provider. They offer recruitment services. They have a job board, financial incentives, personalized assistance, and labor market insights and information.
Thanks, Scott. I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that.
Yep, we can.
Perfect. Okay, thanks. And as Scott mentioned, my name is Wayne Riley. I'm an employment consultant at the St. Clair College Employment Center. So we're one of the Employment Ontario service providers as well. And I'm here to share some information about the services available through our center, as well as our on-campus services through our career services at St. Clair College. So we'll get right into that. So first and foremost, the career services at St. Clair College, these are our on-campus services for students. So the purpose of the office is to assist with anything relating to job search. So whether it be just some tips and resources to get you started on your job search or take your job search to the next level, we're there to assist with that. We also do resume and cover letter assistance, critiques, both through one-on-one and workshop presentations, interview preparation, mock interviews, exploring job postings. These are the kinds of things that we can assist with through the Career Services Office. We do have on-campus locations. However, due to the pandemic, we are offering virtual services right now. So at the end of this section, I have a slide that will let you know how to connect with us to access some of these services, because we are doing everything right now through phone, Teams meetings, and other virtual options. But anything relating to job search, if you're a St. Clair College student, you can reach out to the Career Services Office, and we can try to assist you. We also have job postings, so employers contacting the college directly looking to hire a student or a graduate from a specific program. We do post a listing every week on our St. Clair College Employment Center site. So these are positions that, like I said, employers may be looking specifically for a St. Clair College student or graduate. So this is a good page to bookmark, review the listing. There's an email address there if you are looking to gain more information about any of the postings. You can reach out to us, and depending on if the employer is collecting resumes directly or if they've asked us to collect and pass on to them, there's application instructions there, so we can help connect you with those opportunities. We also, throughout the year, offer various campus events. Now, again, during the pandemic, things have changed a little bit, so we have been exploring some options for providing virtual events, and we've done some workshops and various activities with employers through our team sites and that sort of thing. But typically throughout the school year, we are doing various events on campus, some specific to certain programs, like our career days where we're connecting students with employers. And then also we have various employers coming on campus to recruit students. Sometimes you'll see a booth in the hallway where you'll be able to go in and meet one-on-one with employers. And again, these are things that'll pick up when we're able to resume in-person services. So for now, we've been doing these kinds of things virtually. In addition to the career services on campus, there are other on-campus services that may assist with your career search. Our student services department has academic counselors that can assist with career and educational planning, doing exploration and assessments. So especially for folks who are maybe in a program and not sure what direction they want to head in after completing the program, it's good to sit down with the counselor there and do some long-term career planning. We also have the Genesis Center on campus. They're also offering virtual workshops right now, and they focus on entrepreneurship, starting your own business, and lots of resources, workshops, and programs relating to that. So as I said, right now, everything is being offered virtually. We do have on our website, stclaircollege.ca, you'll see a button right on the main page called Career Central. And this kind of outlines all of the services that are available to students, the general public, and actually to employers as well. So you can go through that page and discover the different services there and be able to click into the different departments for more information. The Career Services Office, you can reach us anytime at extension 4215, or the email address careercentral@stclaircollege.ca. And on our website as well, we do have an online form so that you can contact us directly through email that way as well, if that's easier. So again, anything to do with job search, if you've got a question, if you're looking at a job posting and you want to do some exploration, you're not sure if it's the type of opportunity, or you need more information about the employer, those are the kinds of things we can help with. If you've done a resume and you need someone to look it over before you send it out, or need help putting a cover letter together, anything to do with job search. This is a resource center for students. So you can get in touch with us anytime for that kind of information. So in addition to the on-campus career services, we also have our St. Clair College employment centers in the community. So we have offices in Windsor, Amherstburg, and Wallaceburg. And these are the Employment Ontario services. So we are also one of the Employment Ontario service providers, one of about a dozen in the area. And we offer services to job seekers and employers at no cost, and our services are open to the public. In Amherstburg, the office is at the Fort Malden Plaza, at Roundhouse Center across from Devonshire Mall in Windsor, and at County Fair Mall in Wallaceburg. And again, with the pandemic, unfortunately, we are not open to in-person services at this time. So we are assisting through Teams meetings, phone calls, emails, and doing the best we can to assist you using those methods for now. So stclairemploymentcenter.com is the website to access these services. I'll have the phone number up on the end of this section where you can give us a call. We can do an assessment to determine what kinds of services are best suited to your needs, and go from there. So I'm just going to get into a little bit of the information. I know Linda provided a lot of the information about Employment Ontario services, so I'm just going to reshare some of that. So personalized job search assistance, assistance with connecting you to employers. We also work with Workforce Windsor-Essex, helping to provide labor market information, and also information about various employment and training opportunities in the community. Also information about the other Employment Ontario programs and services. Sometimes if there's a program that might be a better fit for you, we will refer you to an appropriate community service or other Employment Ontario service provider for that type of program. For those who are eligible, we also offer assisted services. So this is where we do individual assistance and support, working with one of our employment consultants at the centers. We connect you with our consultants, and they'll work with you one-on-one until you find a job. So providing one-on-one assistance, support. Sometimes there is funding available, like Linda mentioned, for things that you may need to for the job. But basically, the consultants will work with you one-on-one to support you with your job search. Just a few of the other programs. These probably won't be as relevant for the folks here, but just so you're aware, you may have heard of Second Career. This is funding available through the Employment Ontario programs, or through the Employment Ontario service providers. We help with completing second career applications for folks that have been laid off from a job, or maybe who have left work due to a medical issue. We're able to submit a application to the ministry for funding for retraining, sometimes to even cover some basic living expenses while that training is taking place, for programs that are up to a year in length. So if you know of anyone who's been laid off and is struggling to find work and may need to explore retraining options, we can certainly assist with that. And then we have other programs as well, some specific to youth. So for example, Youth Job Connection program is a program that works with youth between 15 and 29 who have faced some barriers to employment. That program involves attending 2 weeks of paid pre-employment workshops at our center, and then assistance with finding a job placement after that. So these are some of the Employment Ontario programs that are offered through the center. We also have a resource and information center normally open to the public, but again, during the pandemic, we are don't have this open right now, but I wanted to just let you know about it for when the doors do reopen. We have a self-service area where you can come in, use computers, photocopier, of course, get assistance with your job search needs as well, but a good resource center to be able to access and to help with your job search. Right now, if you're looking to work one-on-one with an employment consultant and be assessed for your eligibility for that, you can give us a call. And sorry, I thought I had the phone number up here. I'll just say it quick, 519-253-4461 is our phone number in Windsor. The website is there, stclairemploymentcenter.com, so you can find all of our contact information on the website. So for now, we're asking you either contact us by phone or through the online form on our website, and we will get in touch with you to, again, assess your eligibility for the most appropriate program and get you moving along with your job search. So just since we have some time, I'm just going to go over some tips with regards to virtual job interviews. You know, Linda gave some great tips with regards to job interviews and touched upon virtual job interviews. And I just wanted to share a little more information about some considerations that we're coming across people are facing specifically when it comes to virtual job interviews. So just a few tips and tidbits here. As Linda mentioned, you want to prepare for a virtual job interview in the same way that you would an in-person interview. So that, of course, that involves you know, researching the company and the role, making sure that you are prepared to answer the most common interview questions and questions that may be specific to that company and that position, and that you know, you're also dressing to impress. Just because it's an online virtual interview, you're still looking to make a good first impression. So you know, Linda talked about getting dressed up for the interview, going one step above what you would normally wear in that job. So these are all things that, you know, even though we're at home, it seems a little more casual, we still want to make that great first impression. So we want to make sure that we're preparing just the same way we would for a regular interview. Of course, ahead of time, we want to test the technology. So make sure you find out if you do get called for an interview, you know, what platform the interviewer is going to be using. So whether it's Teams or Zoom, Skype, or whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you downloaded that software and have tested it ahead of time. Make sure you're using a reliable internet connection, and that you've got a good computer or phone or whatever you're using, that you've tested it. Best thing to do is test it with a friend, or if you need someone to test it with, you can reach out to our centers and we can do some testing with you to make sure that you're set up in terms of the technology. Also, you want to make sure that you're in an appropriate environment. So some considerations are, you want to make sure, you know, you're in a quiet area, especially working from home. There could be a lot of distractions, you know, dogs barking in the background, kids running around. So you want to make sure that you've found yourself a good quiet area where you're going to be able to avoid as many of those distractions as possible. Lighting is important too. We know natural lighting is best, so if you have the opportunity to be near a window or that sort of thing, that's the best kind of lighting. But if not, then just make sure when you're doing your testing that you know, that everything is lit properly. You can buy those cool selfie rings now, even to put behind the camera. You know, you can get them at the stores now for $20. Sometimes it's worth it if you're, you know, not in a well-lit environment. It's important that the employer is able to see you clearly. So sometimes that's a good investment for interviews. And then, of course, make sure the webcam you're using is clear. And you know, most of our phones now have them. Our computers or laptops have them, and they're usually pretty decent. But again, you want to make sure you do that testing and making sure that, you know, the picture is clear and the lighting is optimal. A couple things. So again, you want to set up your shot. So make sure in terms of where you're placed in the screen, you don't want to be too close to the screen or too far away. You know, you want to leave about 10–20% of the screen above your head and kind of make sure your face is right in the middle. Sometimes you'll need to use a headphones or microphone, especially if you're not able to escape from a kind of a noisy environment or if there are distractions going on. So you want to make sure you test those ahead of time. Don't forget eye contact as well. I know it's difficult because, you know, we tend to want to focus on eye contact with the image that we're seeing of our interviewer on the screen, but keep in mind it's the camera that you want to make sure that you're looking towards. So if you are using something like a separate webcam, make sure that it's placed right above your the screen that you're seeing the person at, so you're not having to look away to make eye contact away from the screen. And just little things too, like check for glare, especially like me, I wear glasses, so sometimes, you know, the lighting will cause a glare, or if your you know, jewelry's a culprit for that as well. So just make sure, you know, once you've got your lighting set up, that you're just aware of those little things as well. Just like with any interview, you want to practice. So, you know, if you have an opportunity to do a mock interview, an online mock interview, because as we know, it is a little bit different, including, like, you know, how we sound. Sometimes, you know, there could be issues with regards to, you know, how fast you're speaking, the pauses you're making, that sort of thing. We want to sometimes speak a little slower, especially if there's a delayed connection. Sometimes with the interviewer, you know, sometimes there's overlap in the conversation, so you want to make sure that you're, you know, pausing when you're finished an answer and allowing the interviewer to jump in and make comments. And so just be aware of those little things. It's okay to write notes. So a lot of people think, you know, I'm doing an online interview, they can't see all the things I have in front of me, but you don't want to be too distracted. It's okay to write notes, but you want to be referring to them as little as possible. But certainly there's no issues with, you know, key things that you want to make sure that you mention in the interview. It's okay to have those jotted down in front of you, but again, you want to make sure you're focused on the screen and the interviewer in front of you. And again, you want to try to minimize the interruptions, but take them in stride if they happen, right? It's okay to acknowledge, you know, if there's a dog barking in the background, that sort of thing, or to, you know, have to just handle those sorts of things. It's okay to take them in stride if they happen, right? Just like for a regular interview, we want to make sure that we're prepared ahead of time. So just as we would arrive early for a in-person interview, we want to make sure we're signed in and ready to go for a virtual interview. So a couple things to keep in mind too. We want to make sure, you know, you've got a copy of your resume handy, a bottle of water, those sort of things that you just want to make sure that you're prepared with when the interview starts. A good idea, we don't have the opportunity to do a handshake when we start the interview, so even, you know, a digital handshake, acknowledgement, big smile, nodding the head, that sort of thing is important to making that good first impression. You want to make sure you're maintaining a good posture. Body language is very important. And also using your face to show that you're engaged, nodding along when you're agreeing with something, you know, keeping that smile on your face. These are all ways to make a good first impression. And again, we want to make sure the employer knows that you're paying attention and that you're engaged in the conversation. A few other little things, again, just going back, make sure the other person's finished speaking. You know, sometimes if there is any kind of a delay, we'll find ourselves, you know, talking over each other. So make sure that you're waiting for the employer or the interviewer to finish their question or finish speaking. And then if you do have a way, especially if you're answering, providing a long answer to an interview question, when you're done, you know, sometimes doing a head nod or some kind of acknowledgement that you're finished the answer just helps move things along. And again, treat your interview like a conversation, right? Just like you would in a regular interview. It's all about that, making that good first impression. You know, we don't have time during a virtual interview for that kind of small talk that we would typically have an opportunity to do before or after an interview. So, you know, any chance that you have to build a good rapport with the employer, you know, and just any opportunities you have to turn the interview into a conversation is important as well. It's kind of a really quick overview. So again, syncaremploymentcenter.com is our website, so you can access the. Let's see here. Get back to the page here. So you can access our contact information from there. We encourage you to get in touch with us, and we can work with you to take your job search to the next level and determine what services might be best appropriate for you. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Wayne. That was great. All right, our next presenter, we have Shervin Milani Kia, who is a second career caseworker with W5, which stands for Windsor Women Working with Immigrant Women. They are another Employment Ontario service provider, excuse me. They provide one-on-one counseling, career goal setting, occupation search, financial support for job seekers, and job readiness workshops and career exploration events.
Good morning, everyone. This is Shervin Milani Kia. I'm from W5 Employment Center. Basically, the services that we provide is the same as what Linda and Wayne talked about. We are one other service provider through Employment Ontario. And in a nutshell, we offer one-on-one counseling, career goal setting, occupation search. We offer workshops. We host job fairs throughout the year and also provide financial support. Basically, everything is the same as it was explained in detail by Wayne and Linda. I just want to share our info, like contact info. Due to pandemic, also we are not expecting, or we're not allowing anyone to walk into our offices, but our offices are open. All our services are virtual, and I'm gonna see if I can share this information. Well, just like others, I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. I'm not sure if I can, I'm trying to share my screen with you guys for the info, but I'm not sure. Scott, is it possible that you share our contact info through you?
Yeah, here, go ahead and try again there, Shervin, see if it'll work now.
For some reason, I lost that option. I don't see it here. Oh, sure. Can you guys see it? Is it?
No.
We're not able to.
How about now?
It looks like it's loading. There we go.
So this is our website, our phone number, and our email address. The best way, of course, to contact us would be through our email. We are pretty quick responding back, and we are there to help. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shervin. Okay, our last pair of presenters is from, Linda Sithole and Charles Taylor. Linda is a placement specialist and Charles is an industry placement specialist. They are with Women Enterprise Skills Training west of Windsor, and they're here to talk about just online job searching and skills training.
Thank you, Scott. My name is Linda Sithole, and I just like, I'm just going to make a little correction. We are both job developers slash industrial placement specialists. And we're just going to share with you who we are as an organization. And so I know a lot of people might really know who WEST is, but I will just briefly let you know, guys, what WEST really stands for. So WEST is just an abbreviation for Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor, Inc. And Women's Enterprise Skills Training of Windsor exists to provide training for severely employment disadvantaged visible minority women in order to improve their employability in the workforce and or to further their education. WEST has been providing services in the Windsor-Essex County since 1987. We do provide 5 main pillars of services to women in the community, which includes settlement services, education and training, employment assistance, language instruction, and child minding. So we're going to be interchanging in this conversation with my co-worker. So you might hear me talking, and you might also hear Charles talking as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Charles because we'll just be interchanging like that. Thank you very much. And thanks again for having us. Charles. I'm not sure.
Charles, you're muted.
Okay, hello everyone again. I'm going to cover settlement services and language services really quick. That includes language instruction for newcomers, especially English classes, and settlement services and orientation services. That's helping newcomers become acclimatized to Canada and learning the culture and expectation of Canadian society.
We also have child minding services. So like Charles said, we have our settlement department, which helps most of our clients are women and most of them are mothers. So we offer child services as well for them. So in our child minding, the women will bring their children at West, and then we have a daycare for them, and they can do some learning in the daycare while their parents are also in class. We also offer a clothing exchange program, which is called the Ready for Work program. And we do work with different organizations within our community where they donate slightly used garments that we offer to anybody looking for employment, really. However, like all the other organizations that have already spoken before us, we are also offering our services remotely. So we continue to do our support, but everything is being done remotely as well.
Okay, we also offer professional training. We have the ELT program, which is for finance and accounting training program for foreign trained professionals in the finance and accounting fields to learn the Canadian systems. We offer computer training. We have a basic computing course for people who don't have very much computing background. And we also have advanced courses in Word and Excel. And we have our EWE program that this all falls under professional training, which is called Empowering Women for Employment. It's an 8-week full-time training course on employability, computers, public speaking, WMIS, first aid and CPR, and networking opportunities with local employers and professionals. Then that's followed by a 5-week work placement. And we also have childcare and transportation assistance. So we will arrange for bus passes and we will arrange for childcare for the children of these women while they're getting their feet on the ground in Canada.
One of our training programs that we have is also called Women in Skilled Trades. So we do have a pre-apprenticeship program where we have women coming in and training. We've been focusing mainly on CNC and industrial mechanical millwright for women. So anyone who is looking to go into the trades, we do have that support, and we support them as well as they look for their apprenticeship after the training. So they do an in-class training and also work placement, which is a paid placement. We always have them on placement for 10 weeks. And then after that, we help them to solicit employers who could be able to hire them as apprentices so that they can get trained and become journey persons.
And we also have our programs which are geared specifically to youth. We have youth program and employment services. First of all, there's what's called SEAT, which is Science, Engineering, Art, and Technology. I'm sure you all know a lot about that. This program is designed specifically to encourage young women to pursue those fields. And then we have what we call the LEAD program, which is Young Women in Lead. It's to assist young women who are facing barriers to employment so they can develop the knowledge, skills, and experience needed to get into the workforce. And I'm going to turn it back over to Lindy Wee because we're finally getting to our employment services.
Okay, thanks, House. So just like the other speakers, Linda and Wayne and Chevron, I hope I didn't murder your name. Our employment services pretty much does the same things that have already been talked about. We also help our clients with their resume preparation. We do coaching, we do placements, we help them with looking at the hidden job market. We also provide employment counseling as well. We offer placements as well, and then we also do different, employment workshops that allow them to enhance their employability as they get into the workforce.
Okay, going to do this pretty quick as we're running out of time rapidly. I'm going to give you a few job search tips and interview tips right now. These are practical ones that I've learned working in this job over several years. I have more than 5 years experience. Write a simple and easy to read resume. Simple and easy is better than writing the great Canadian novel. Keep it clear, concise, and simple. The easier it is to read for an employer, the more likely they are to actually read it. If you've got something huge, long, and wordy, they're going to look at it and go, nope, and just move on to the next one. Use resources, number 2, use resources like Indeed to find job ads, but never apply through Indeed unless there's no other options. We've done practical tests on this, and 60% of the time when you hit that apply now button, the resumes never reach their destination. Indeed is an algorithm that scrapes employment opportunities from across the web and combines them into one space, but it doesn't always work perfectly. So if you're looking to apply for a job at ABC Engineering, you see their ad on Indeed, find ABC Engineering and apply directly through their website. Or even better yet, make a cold call. Talk to that hiring manager, say, hi, my name is Tom Jones, and I'm really interested in applying for this civil engineering technologist position. Get their email address directly and send it directly to them, address to them. That'll raise your chances by a whole lot. Tip number 3, the interview process starts with the first interaction with a company. How you treat their staff will determine if you get the job. If you walk in and you're rude to a receptionist, and I know this isn't online, this is in person, but if you're even a tiny bit rude to a receptionist, you're likely not going to get the job. Number 4, appearance is reality. Everyone sees the world from their own point of view, and when you're an employer, you're looking at the candidate. Their appearance is reality. Your appearance is reality to them. Always appear to be calm and productive. Definitely don't play with your phone while you're waiting for an interview. Bring a notebook or a portfolio. Even if you're doodling in a notebook, it looks productive. So appearance is reality. And the final tip I'm going to give you is be yourself. Don't overthink things. Just be the best you that you can be, and you'll be successful.
So we noticed that with the pandemic, most of the interviews are done remotely, they're done virtually. Most of the stuff that you will need to prepare for have already been covered by the other speakers. So I'm just going to add just a little bit on what has already been spoken. So you'll find that sometimes an employer might have some questions for you that are more or less to just see how you adapt. So for example, right now we're all going through this pandemic. An employer could ask you, how are you doing this pandemic? What have you done during the pandemic? What new skills have you acquired? Do you have any questions for us? Things like that. And the way you're going to respond to those questions will really show them the kind of person you are when it comes to adapting to these different situations that we're going through. And talking about online job searching, Scott actually covered a lot when he was talking about networking and the different job websites that we use is pretty much the same. We encourage our clients to use the good and effective ones that we always encourage, will be like Workforce Windsor, Indeed, the Job Bank, and be very specific. Pay attention to detail when you are looking at those jobs, because you'll find some of the job postings could be more on a federal level or just provincial level. So just make sure that when you're doing your online searching, take time to read the job description, take time to look at your own resume. Is it speaking to the job description? Is it addressing what the employer is looking for? Is it really bringing out the points? Because sometimes some people will look at their resume and be like, oh, you know what, I don't have this education. But sometimes a job description will state that, or experience. So it could be education or experience. So sometimes we miss that. So pay attention to detail when you're doing your online job searching, and the website as well. There's a lot of people out there that are scamming people. And I think a lot of people have experienced that. And even when you're doing your job search, it is very important as well when you get emails back to look at the emails and see if there's anything that you suspect. You can reach out to any of us from Employment Ontario. I have put the website for West on the chat section there, and our phone number is 519-256-6621. I've also put that in the chat section as well. We do have employment counselors and job developers that can help you. We also have a resource center that will also help you, with this with looking over your resume. And I know Linda also mentioned and emphasized as well as Wayne that it is important to have someone proofread your resume, because I am a very strong believer that we read our thoughts. And so when you write something, it's very easy for you not to see your mistakes. But if somebody reads it over for you, you can be able to see those mistakes. So in a nutshell, this is who we are. From West, we pretty much do the same things that most of the Employment Ontario providers do. And once again, thank you so much for having us this morning. We really appreciate the moment. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, thank you both. That was great. So we do have a few minutes here for Q&A. I think we can either unmute individual participants, or you could just share it to the chat.
Scott, can I just touch upon individuals who are looking for work outside of our province?
Sure.
I think that was one of the questions in the chat room. Same rules apply, everybody. Whether you're looking for work in Windsor, Ontario, or Toronto, or Alberta or BC or Nova Scotia, take a look at the job posting, research the company. What are they into? What are they making? What are they doing? What can you do? What do you have to match them? It's not much different in Canada per se. When you're dealing with applying for jobs in other countries, because we do deal with individuals from that are newcomers, they their CV style is very different and more enhanced than what a regular resume is. So just research, get all the information you get. So when you make a decision, it's an informed decision.
That's right. And to Linda's point there, and to answer the question for applying to jobs out of province, a lot of times when you're applying to a job opening, location is going to be a concern, unless it specifically says that remote working and telecommuting is an expectation of the job. So one thing you want to do in your cover letter, and this is coming from a position of someone who's done the hiring, is call attention to the fact that you are at a distance to the current opening, and if it requires it, you would be open to moving and relocating, because a lot of times, and to the points that Charles was making about Indeed, we see a lot of applicants, and again, this is coming from the position of an employer, from different countries applying to jobs, and it can be cause for consideration, or even just discarding the applicant if we look at them and say, well, they're not even in this country, and then that's a hard stop to the application process for that potential candidate. So as an applicant, you want to say, I know I'm not in the same location as your company, but I am open to relocating, and happy to have that discussion. So make sure you call attention to the fact that distance is currently an issue.
Not acceptable. So
Larissa, you're very broken up with your audio. So Larissa's saying that she's been told not to, or she's been given advice to not provide your address because it could cause people to discard. I will say, and any of our other presenters, feel free to jump in. When you're applying and you write your cover letter to the employer, I wouldn't say exclude it. I would say call attention to that fact, because if it comes time for the interview and you just drop that out of nowhere without any indication, it could just give us pause. So coming from my own position, I would say, make that something to the forefront and say, I know I'm in a different province, I know I'm in a different country, but to have this opportunity to work for this company, I would be happy to relocate. So that's my opinion on it. Anyone else, feel free to jump in.
Yes, Scott, can I just add to that? So sometimes people are not comfortable putting their address because of judgment calls where they live, their address, or they might be living on their own for health and safety reasons. So if you don't want to put your address in the cover letter, I'm sitting on the fence on that. So if you're not comfortable or confident in putting your address in there and you do not live in the area where they are looking to hire people, I would put in my cover letter, although I don't reside in your local area where your organization is, I will have no issues in relocating. I'm ready to go. So I'd be happy to meet with you for an interview, virtually or in person, if you just let me know the date, the time, and the place, and I'll be there as long as I'm able to with the provincial guidelines, right? So like if someone's in a gray zone, you're not going to be, they're not going to even have you going in, right? But I would, I guess I would play that by ear and take a look. So if you're not comfortable in putting where you live, like your actual address, like Scott said, just put a title in a little blurb in your cover letter that says, although I'm not currently located in the area where your organization is, I'm ready to relocate once offered the position. And then that way you're covered. Any of my other colleagues and the other service providers, please like add on if something else needs to be.
Okay, well, as someone who's been an employment counselor in Ontario and Saskatchewan and Alberta, I can kind of jump in on this a little bit as well. I know in Alberta, we do not encourage people to put their full address on a resume. One thing that was encountered out there, and I don't know if it's happened here in Ontario, but one thing that we encountered when I was living in Northeast Alberta was that people would place fake job ads and have people drive all the way to Edmonton. And while they were in Edmonton, they would rob their homes. So that might be a consideration for you. In that case, what we had them do was just put the town or the city without a street address. That would also eliminate the judgment of, say, living in, you know, a different neighborhood or a different community. Just put the city as opposed to the specific address. And when it comes to applying out of the area, I had lots of people who were doing that. Yes, we would just put it directly in the cover letter. I am willing to relocate.
Yeah, those are both great points. And to go back to what I said, yeah, you shouldn't put your full address if you're not comfortable with that. But when you talk about your work experience and the companies you work for, you're probably going to put the location of them. So it's good to call it out on your cover letter about that relocating, because as an employer, if I'm reading your work experience and your past employers are in a completely different country, I'm going to have that question. So it was a great question, though. Thank you for that. Are there any more questions? Okay, doesn't seem like it. So I want to thank everyone for attending today. We do have a quick exit poll that I'm going to pop up on the screen here. I also want to highlight a pair of upcoming events. I'm just trying to do both here. Okay, we should be able to do both here. So just our exit poll is, we just want to know what you think of this event and our panelists. So if you could take a minute to fill that out, please, that would be very much appreciated. Now, OACETT actually has 2 upcoming Lunch and Learn events on the topic of personal and professional branding and networking online. The first is March 15th at 12:30, and that's talking about networking on LinkedIn. And then the second topic is going to be hashtag InstaGoals on Instagram and how to build your personal brand. And that's going to be April 12th at 12:30. And you can register for both of those events by the link, or I did post in a QR code just for that quick access there. It's $15 to sign up for these events, but please feel free. It is open to all. OACETT membership is not required. I'll leave that up for a minute. But if there are no more questions, then I want to thank everyone today for attending. I want to thank our panelists for presenting their topics. I feel like it was a great overview of Employment Ontario services. And keep in mind, I know I know all of the presenters are in the Windsor-Essex area, and we have had attendees from across Ontario attend. Employment Ontario is open to anyone across the province, and there are service providers in every municipality. So If you you can reach out to these contacts here today, or you can visit the Employment Ontario website if you were looking for something in your area.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. We look forward to helping everyone look for either summer or full-time employment, resumes, job search, interviews, mock applications. We're all here. We're all Employment Ontario service providers. So good luck to everyone, and be safe, everyone, please.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Thanks all.
Have a good day and stay safe, everybody. Have a good weekend as well.
Happy Friday.
You got it. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.